Let's talk about the basic architecture of Teradata. What is components which are there in Teradata? So the major components of a Teradata system are basically the parsing engine, the binet, and the AMP, and the disk storage. So basically, this is a in a complete structure of a node. So what a parsing engine does basically? So parsing engine is the heart of Teradata systems. Of course, for any database, parsing engine will be there. So parsing engine is nothing but so it can actually responsible for controlling your session, parsing the query and optimizing your query performance and dispatch the request to the AMP. So through Binet. So what is meant by managing the session? So we can have up to 120 sessions per PE actually running. And the parsing and optimizing your SQL request means, for example, if you write a query, select star from table where some employee ID is equal to 20 or 30, how the parsing engine will know that okay you are using some index primary index on the table, because without index if you write a query like that select star from table, what happens is will search the entire table, that means entire all amp operation, right? So all the corresponding amps will be used for this to search your data. So in order to have this, limited and better explained plan, so the parsing engine will be playing a key role because ultimately at the end of the day, you are actually trying to put the data in a requested manner, right? Like for example, by applying the filters, like we don't need the entire data from a table, right? So we have to use some joins and some conditions, where clauses. So we have a lot of stuff to filter the data basically. So how your database know that okay you have applied some primary index condition on this thing, right? So how that parsing engine will come to know that? So that is because of the parser and optimizer. They will actually do this for you. Like once you write a query, fire a query in the database. So obviously what happens is it will check the query explain plan is nothing but basically how many indexes are there, the primary index, what is the primary index, what is the secondary index, and what is the where clause condition that you put, whether the where clause have the primary index before joining the table might be smaller or larger table, or what join you have on the table. So all these kind of checks will be done by your parsing engine, so that what happens is it will provide a proper explain plan to the database, so that the database can utilize that opportunity to increase the performance. So end of the day your query will be completely controlled by your parsing engine. So it will tell you how bad your query is. Sometimes you may write some select star from table where instead of employee ID you say employee name is equal to John, right? Let's say some example. So without a primary index and employee ID, if you say name, what happens? It will try searching the entire database with the string value, which is the worst query, and your performance will be hit by the database, right? So obviously you'll end up with spool space errors. Spool space is nothing but the temporary space for an individual user is allocated in the database. So whenever you file some query, the results hold in a temporary table until it displays in your, the results complete until your query completes. It will actually hold up in the temporary memory. So if you keep on filing your temporary memory by just writing some bad queries, for example, you have 1 billion rows in table and you say select star from table where name is equal to something which doesn't have any primary index. So what happens in that case? Your complete spool space will be out, and you'll get an error saying that you're running out of spool space, right? So something like that. So that will be controlled by your parsing engine. Okay, that is called optimizer and dispatcher. I mean, as a whole as a parsing engine, and optimizer will do that for you. And dispatcher is nothing but dispatching what are the plan that is created with the parsing engine to the BINET systems. BINET is actually a communication mechanism between your parsing engine and an AMP, right? So an AMP is nothing but a processing unit for your query. Once it is fired by the parsing engine to BINET, an AMP will process the query and send the data back to the BINET, and BINET will send the data back to the parsing engine. So BINET, what is a BINET here? So BINET is a fiber optical cable, and it is a software as well. So in both, it will be available in both formats, because if you're using one single node, we don't need a hardware cable. But if you use multiple nodes, we have to connect the system, right, somewhere. So through BiNet, actually cable kind of stuff, we are actually connecting the BiNet with different nodes, right? So that is what communication mechanism actually in Teradata. So this BiNet can help you in providing the responses back to the parsing engine and from parsing engine to the corresponding app, right? So this is like a broadcast and point-to-point communication on a node, okay? And BiNet software and PDE. PDE is nothing but a parallel data extension which is used along with BiNet software, which can control your, that AMPs receive the multicast communication. So basically, it is a communication mechanism used to, communicate to the parsing engine and the other nodes. The BiNet is plays a very vital role in Teradata. And here the main component of Teradata is access module processing unit, right? So what is an access module processing unit? So basically, once your parsing engine does the query for you, the explain plan, and that will be spread across the data might be spread across the different AMPs, right? So what happens here is all the data, the joining performance of joining conditions, sorting the data, aggregation, everything will be done at AMP level, okay? And output conversion and formatting, everything will be done at AMP level, and all the data back, once this is operation is done, the calculation is done, it will go back to your parsing engine with the help of BiNet. So the AMPs are actually works in parallel, so there is no shared nothing architecture here. So that's why Teradata is called shared nothing architecture, because there is no sharing between different AMPs because they work in parallel. So, for example, if you have 10 rows in a database, or maybe 8 rows, 4 AMPs here, right? So, two rows each, and they'll work on the data and get the data back to the parsing engine. So, they don't need to share to the other AMP basically. That's why the performance of the database will be very high with respect to this type of architecture. Because if you invoke multiple processes at the same time to retrieve the data, obviously the process can improve better, right? So that is the advantage of AMP works in parallel stream. Alright, so, and this is completely a node which comprises of all whatever utilities we discussed, like the parsing engine, BiNet driver, and AMP, and vdisk is nothing but virtual disk storage. And there are two types of systems basically Teradata works in. One is channel attached system, another one is LAN, network attached systems. So we work mostly on the network attached systems. Channel attached system is nothing but mainframes connectivity is also there along with Teradata. So Teradata can work on this LAN access network. So mostly we work on access network servers because we use Linux as our installation server for Teradata, and then we use the client. So it's actually, a network connectivity. We use LAN connectivity for to have that, server connection from the client. So this is a node, completely a node, which is called a database. You can say single server. This is the units of single server. So this PD is nothing but the parallel data extensions I told us earlier. So this will be used along with the BiNet driver to connect to multiple systems. So we can use multiple nodes, up to 512 nodes. I think they have increased the capacity now to more than that to actually form a database basically, right? So what happens is we can increase the database size without much hassle, right? That is the biggest advantage. So only the disadvantage of this is Teradata is a bit costly compared to other databases, because per Teradata terabyte space they charge in, $5 million, 5 billion, something like that. So it's very costly with respect to the space. So it's very important to save the space while running your queries and for your company too, because otherwise they keep on adding more space to your database, right? So that's about the Teradata architecture. Okay.